Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast episode number 9. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. Today's Friday, so it's Book Insight Friday. And today I'm going to talk about The Struggles and Growth of a Man, Part 2, and what went into the process of me writing this book. So, if you did listen to The Struggles and Growth of a Man podcast, where I did some book insight on that, I did discuss that this was not going to be a full series, but I decided that I would write a 5-book series, and I was able to incorporate a lot of, good content of what we deal with as men and issues and things of that nature. So when I decided to, make this a full series, I knew in my mind that I had to make it impactful and make it count. Part 1 started off a little slow, and then it progressed gracefully, but I knew that part 2 had to start with a big bang and a gut punch, and I knew that I had to incorporate, Robert's, mother into this, and Robert's mentor and things of that nature. It was hard to do, but I knew that I had to. I knew I had to, start part 2, with, bad news and things of that nature to, get Robert to emote more. To get him out of his comfort zone, to get him to, stop holding everything in, and, writing it from that perspective, it allowed me to, let readers know and let people know that it's okay to emote and feel and cry and be angry and a plethora of other feelings that a man may be going through. With all that, went on in part 2, Robert was trying to find some solace in all that's going on in his life all at one time. And he, looked to his brother Mike, his younger brother Michael, as his comfort. Now, Michael is in prison for 5 years for some bad decisions of drug dealing and things of that nature. And, I kind of incorporated them writing letters to each other, which allowed them to build that stronger bond. And I think that a lot of times, relationships between brothers aren't shown in a more emotive light. So for me, I enjoyed writing that aspect of it because, it changes the landscape of how men feel and how men emote. It brought Robert out in a light that, no one would expect. He was starting, progressively in part 1 to, share, certain aspects of his life and his mindset and, his him changing his ways, in regards to his way of thinking. And I wanted the reader to fully understand Robert, and I wanted to bring the protagonist aspect to Robert's character. I didn't have a huge goal of incorporating Michael into the series, which is, I said to myself, you know what? I think it's going to be good for me to incorporate Michael, the younger brother, into this, because now it's going to allow me to write Robert and show his softer side, than, and being a role model, Robert being a role model to Michael, in a better way now. Michael saw Robert do certain things, years previously, and Robert got out of it, but then Michael kind of stayed within that whole drug dealing, making bad decisions and doing the wrong things. And, that kind of affected Robert when, Michael went to prison. So, as the book progresses, Robert, takes some big steps in his life, and, he starts to, do certain things that are not looked at in a positive light, to put it to you that way. I don't want to, give away part 2 that much. So I'm trying to kind of, thread the needle a little bit and not fully give away part 2 of this book, but I'll kind of incorporate, a little something from, the book. I'm going to read you something brief. This is like the middle to the end of the book, where Robert writes a letter to Michael to let him know that their father has been killed. Hey bro, hope all is well. I'm writing you with more bad news. Well, I don't know if you would consider this bad news, but Dad was killed on the streets of our city, a drug deal gone wrong. Or someone in his crew wanted him dead. It seems like it was a hit. You probably don't give a damn about exactly what happened. I know you're more bitter about what he did to us and Mom, and I don't blame you. Said goodbye to Dad at the funeral home as the casket was closed. Lacking emotion and not going to his burial, I didn't really care. His side of the family probably felt a certain way, but I feel a certain way that is beyond explainable and only you would understand. I'm sorry I keep writing you with bad news, but I'm tired. It's been 3 wakes and funerals all in a matter of weeks. I'm tired of wearing this black suit for all of the wrong reasons. I thought this suit was going to be used more for job interviews. I hope you're hanging in there. I know it's taking a toll on you mentally. You'll get out of prison soon and you can come back home. I made a crazy mistake before Dad was killed in our neck of the woods. I went back to the corner and was selling drugs for a night for some quick money. My gut was feeling uneasy that whole night, and I knew I had to get out of there. Go figure, the next morning I found out Dad was killed not too far from me. I made some good money for me to survive for a little while. No job opportunities have come my way, and it's getting so frustrating. I've been losing hope on a lot of things lately, and I don't know what to do. I can't go back to the corner again, especially knowing people know who I am. I'm back in the suburbs with the marbles, and I'm safe, so don't worry. Mentally, I'm drained, and I need a break from all of this craziness that's gone on. I need someone to talk to, so hopefully we can talk on the phone at some point. I know it sucks you lost your privileges because of other inmates. Well, bro, keep your head up. I'm sending you some money. Hold on to it and use it wisely. I know that you will. You always knew how to save. So that's, a little bit of, Robert sharing, more bad news. There were some other unfortunate, deaths early on in the book, but you guys got to get the book in order to know what happened, right? So that's, a little bit of how I utilized their relationship, in the start of this series with them writing letters to each other. It's different. I took it from an idea from Hill Harper's book, Letters to a Young Brother. I had read that years ago, and I came back to that book and remembered, how it was structured, and I decided to utilize my prose writing and, incorporate, some emotive feelings into it, and it came out well. I'm thankful for that. And one of the radio hosts that I'm very good friends with, Luana Helena, she has read pretty much all my books for the most part, and she did commend me on utilizing that aspect, and it being a little bit different than, traditional books that you would read. So it was fun, to write part 2, and hopefully you guys will take the opportunity to, go on ahead and get yourself a copy of an ebook or a paperback. Currently, I'm working on getting more audiobooks done. It's a process, so please bear with me. If you guys, I know you guys are audio people if you're listening to this, so you guys probably would prefer to listen to an audiobook if you was to go down that route, but hopefully in the near future there will be some more audiobooks that I record. So anyway, that's my podcast for today. Stay tuned next week. Definitely more great content coming with Mondays with Mello, Wednesday Motivation Inspiration, and Book Insight next week will be discussing The Struggles and Growth of a Man, Part 3. Be good, everyone. Enjoy your weekend and go accomplish your goals.